I'm Lucas Hawkins. This is my practical team sports assignment 1. What do officials do? My first one I'm going to look at is football. The players. There's 11 players on each side of the football match. This is made up of one goalkeeper, and the other 10 players are outfield players. In very rare instances, the game is stopped if there is less than 7 players on each team. This can be because of injuries or sending-offs. A team who has less than 7 players on the pitch at the end have to forfeit the game. Officials. The game is made up by a referee, 2 assistant referees, and a 4th official in professional game, and a 4th official in professional games. The referee is in charge of proceedings and has the power of overruling the assistant referee's decisions. The referee is faced with starting the game and ending it, whilst also being challenged with giving the free hits penalties and sending off cautioning players. The assistant referees are based on the touchline on each side of the pitch. They can advise the referee on decisions, but is mainly in charge of giving corners, throw-ins, and offsides. The 4th official is tasked keeping managers inside their technical area, whilst also assisting with allowing players on and off the pitch from substitutions. Spectators. A very important rule for spectators is that they aren't allowed on the pitch at all times. If they fail to do so, they will be expelled from the game and may never be allowed back there. This is because they have potentially put others in danger, including the players playing. Spectators must also oblige the law at all times. What I mean by this is they must behave in a respectful manner and respect others around them at all times. If they don't do this, they may be asked to leave as well. Another really important rule for spectators is if they have to follow what the steward says at all times. This is because they could potentially be in danger or at risk. For example, if there was a fire, they would need to follow exactly what the steward says so everyone is safe, because this would probably be the quickest way to get them out of the stadium. Facilities. The majority of footballers have access to a training ground, which is where the preparation will be done for the game and where the training will be preparation for the game will be done. The changing rooms, which is to get ready for the game and where the manager will give his last speech before the game. Obviously the pitch where the game will be played. And for elite footballers, they will have access to a physio room, which is where they will receive treatment before or after the game if needed and if they're injured during. And at non-elite level, this may be done at the side of the pitch. Elites will also have access to psychologists, nutritionists, and strength and conditioning coaches, as well as a high standard of all mentioned the above. This is because this will allow them to become the best player possible. Equipment. The equipment used in football for a player is football boots, which is to prevent slipping and make sure you can have good grip on the turf. Football socks, which is to allow you to wear shin pads, so the shin pads will not come out. And also, so it'll give you a way of recognising who is on your team, because the socks will be different colour from the opposition's. Shin pads, which is to reduce the chances of injuries to your shin. So it can be very painful if you get hit here, and obviously a football, so the game can be played. If the games go ahead, you need goals, so the goals can be scored. And you also need corner flags, so the players know where to take the corners, and this can also help the referee tell whether it's a throw-in or a corner. Playing surface. A football game can be played on 2 different pitches. This is the normal grass pitch, or it can be played on a 3 or 4G pitch, which is artificial grass. The dimensions of the pitch is done by the groundsman. This is to suit the home team style of play usually, but the minimum size of the pitch can be 100 yards with a maximum size of 130. The width has to be a minimum of 50 yards and a maximum of 100 yards. The scoring system. To score or win a game of football, the team gains points by getting the ball across the opposing team's goal line between the goalposts. The team who does this the most for the 90 minutes will win the game. And if they can't be separated in knockout or tournament games, this will go to extra time. And if still they can't be separated, they will go to a penalty shootout. Health and safety. Health and safety in football is improving regularly, just like many other sports. There are various things in place to stop players becoming injured. One of these is shin pads, which is to reduce the blow when going into a 50-50 challenge. And this will reduce the chance of you picking up leg or shin injuries, which can potentially be fatal in football and ruining your career if you get ACL, anterior cruciate ligament injury, for example. A new rule introduced by the FA is to have players who have suffered head injuries to take them off and have them checked straight away, which should significantly reduce the risk of serious head injuries. Alongside there'll be a risk assessment which will identify the risks and have a plan on how to reduce them or stop them completely, which is what every professional environment will need to have. Child protection. Steps in which child protection is assured in football is that all coaches and participants in football must have a DBS, which says you can work with children, you have a clean history of no wrongdoing in the past. They will also have to attend a course which will allow them to learn skills and ways to enable all the participants to enjoy and feel safe in the session. Insurance. There is insurance in football to cover you from serious injuries as well as accidents. This is so you will receive compensation which will help you recover from the injury, as you'll have a sum of money to pay for the care. Administration. This is the running of the club. This includes things like having players registered at a club and clubs being registered in the league, as well as the control of finances at the club, meaning that administration of the club is vital, as it wouldn't be able to keep running without these things. The rules of football. Offside is where a player is behind the defence's back line with no defender behind them. It's just him between the goalkeeper. Foul / misconduct is a referee's judgment of where a player is impeded. This could lead to a free kick or penalty. A throw-in is where the ball crosses the touchline at either end of the pitch, and the team that kicked it out concede the throw to the other team. A goal kick is where the ball is put behind the goalkeeper's goal by an attacking player. And a corner kick is where a team from the defending goal puts it out behind their own goal, meaning the attacking team have a corner. Six situations in football. First one being Bravo versus Rooney. The referee in the game did not give this as a foul, but if I was the referee, I'd have penalised Bravo, given him a yellow card, and I'd have also given a penalty to Manchester United because the tackle is clearly impeding the player and is dangerous. In this situation, the referee didn't give a foul or a free kick, and the attacking player went on to score a goal. If I was the referee in this game, I would have given a free kick to the defending side and would have booked the attacker because he clearly fouled the player from behind, which could have potentially been dangerous, but he clearly impeded the player and he could not have done anything to stop that.
The wide men have found little space and walked away from Huddle.
In this situation, I would have booked Maradona for handball and would have given a free kick to the other team because it clearly has came off his hands and he's done this intentionally. So the referee in the game didn't do it and the goal stood. If I was referee, it would be a free kick and a yellow card to Maradona. In this game, the player who dived got the defending player a yellow card and it was a free kick to his team, but if I was referee, I'd have booked the player for diving and given a free kick to the opposite team, as he's clearly not being impeded there and is trying to make a judgment for the referee's decision and trying to get the player booked, which is unsportsmanlike and would be a yellow card. In this one, I would have given a foul to Manchester United as the Watford players clearly came in and impeded him and fouled him there, and has not won the ball cleanly. The referee in this game didn't give it as a foul, and the Watford players were allowed to carry on attacking. But if I was referee, it would have been a free kick. In this game, John Terry scored a backfield goal, which was from an offside position, but it still counted. If I was the referee, I would have gone to my linesman, and if my linesman had put the flag up, I'd given it offside. It would have been a free kick to Everton, the defending team, and the goal wouldn't have stood. But in this instance, the goal stood, which was a wrong decision. Now move on to cricket. Players in cricket. In cricket, there is also 11 players from each side. However, only 2 can bat at a time, and only one can bowl. In the fielding team, you will have 9 fielders, 1 wicket-keeper, and 1 bowler. In a batting side, you'll have the 2 batsmen. The rest of the team will be waiting to bat or have already been out. Officials. In low-level games of cricket, there are just 2 umpires, one which stands behind the stumps at the non-striker's end, another one which stands in the field in line with the batsman stumps adjacently. In international games, however, there's a third umpire which gets television replays to give people out if the standing umpires aren't sure. This makes cricket more reliable, and the decisions chances are they'll always be right now. Spectators. The exact same rules apply for cricket spectators as they do for football. They will not be allowed on the pitch at all times. They could potentially put in themselves or the players in danger. And they will also have to find out exactly what the stewards say in case of an incident. Facilities. Cricket players have access to very similar facilities to footballers. They have access to the change rooms, the nutritionists, the physiotherapists, etc. if they are elite. Something training that they will have, which footballers will not, is the use of nets. Nets is basically a cage which will allow the bowlers to bowl the ball at one end and the batsmen to be at the other end. But it means they can do this. The process will be sped up because the ball will just be going into the side of the net and no one will have to keep on fetching the ball, which would slow it down. They will also have the access to bowling machines, which will allow the batsmen to face balls without any bowlers there, and this means they can practice a particular shot. Equipment. In cricket, there is a considerably larger amount of equipment than football. This is because it can potentially be dangerous if you are hit. For example, if you are hit on the head, you could potentially die of a serious head injury, which will affect the rest of your life. That is why you have all this equipment, to increase safety. Wicket-keepers are also required to wear such equipment to reduce the chances of injury to them as well. Because when they catch a ball, it can be travelling at over 90 miles an hour, which could injure you severely still. The equipment they have is pads, which is protect the legs, because you could potentially crack your shin if you are not wearing pads and batting. Gloves, which will stop hand injuries like broken fingers. A box which will protect damage to the groin area. A helmet, which is probably the most important one, which can stop serious head injuries and can even lead to death in severe instances, and spikes, which will allow you to get grip and not slip over when playing. Wicket-keepers also have a different type of gloves which allows them to catch the ball easier because of the distance pace it's travelling at. They will also have to wear pads, helmets and spikes. Playing surface. The playing surface in cricket is grass, with the pitch usually rolled regularly to make it hard so there is a consistent bounce. In youth games, it is common to see an astro wicket to enhance the chance of the ball reaching the other batsman, as they do not have the strength to bowl the ball. If the pitch isn't rolled regularly, it can lead to inconsistent bounce, which can potentially be dangerous and lead to the club being fined. Scoring system. Points are scored in cricket by the team who hit the most runs. However, it's not just about batting. To win a game, you must also field and bowl well to win. In a test format, you'll bat and bowl twice. You will receive points for good bowling and batting team performances. Overall, the team who scores the most runs will win the game. Health and safety in cricket. Players are made to wear pads, gloves, helmets, spikes, etc. to keep them safe and reduce the chances of injury to them. This is needed to greatly reduce the chance of serious injury. Wicket-keepers are also required to wear pads, gloves and helmet. If you do not wear pads, gloves and helmet, it's a lot more likely that you could break a bone, for example, with the gloves and the pads, and the helmet is vital because it can lead to, obviously, what I've said before, is a serious head injury or trauma. A wicket also has to be prepared to a certain standard set by the ECB. It could potentially be dangerous if this isn't done because the bounce isn't consistent, and at the high pace it being bowled could seriously hurt if hit by the inconsistent bounce. A risk assessment will always have to be carried out to make it, as it is a professional area, to reduce the risks and get around the risks by having something in place to stop them. Child protection. Just like football, you have to have to work with children, you have to have a DBS, which will check your history to see if you're allowed to work with children. You also have to attend a coaching session, which will give you tips and hints on how to improve your coaching and how to get everyone to enjoy the session. Insurance. Insurance in cricket is the same as football. It's covering you from serious injury or trauma by giving you a sum of money which will help you pay off and let you get back to train if it's not a serious injury. Administration. This is the same in football as well. Without this, there will be no clubs, leagues, etc. And this ranges from people dealing with the money to the supplying of the kit. So without one of those things is obviously huge, like the dealing of the money. But also the little things as well, like the kit and things like that. And if you don't get all these right, you'll be able to have the game and put a game on. So this is why it's vital. So otherwise, no one wants to go and watch cricket. Cricket rules: a batsman can be out by being bowled, caught, leg before wicket, which shall be W, handling the ball or run out. If you hit boundaries, these are 4 or 6. A 4 is if the ball bounces inside the boundary, or a 6 is if it clears the boundary. These runs are then allocated to the batsman. One team bats to set a score for the other. After they are all out or others have used the allocated amount of overs, the other team will switch roles and the other team will try to change the total set. 1 run is allocated for a wide, which is where the batsman can't hit it and then the ball is re-bowled. This is the same for a no ball, which is where you overstep the line or it's above waist height. 6 situations in cricket. This was given out in the game, but as you can clearly see from Hawkeye, it was given out. So if I was umpire in this game and I wasn't sure, I'd have reviewed it and gone to a Hawkeye, and Hawkeye would have shown that it's not out, meaning the decision would have been right then. But instead it was given out, and the batsman had to suffer from a poor decision.
It's just 80 wickets in hand. Real contest, the second final.
In this situation, you can clearly see the ball was over waist height, and it wasn't given as a no ball, meaning the batsman was out. If I was the umpire, I'd have given it as a no ball, so it'd be an extra run for the team, and the batsman wouldn't have been given out. The batsman in this one was given out caught, but as you can clearly see, the batsman misses the ball.
A lot from Swan. The front foot's fine.
So if I was umpire, I would have given him out because he hasn't hit it.
He's in trouble here. I think
In this one, the batsman was given not out for a run out, but as you can clearly see from this frame, the batsman is nowhere in sight and the ball is already in the stumps and he's not near his crease, meaning that he should have been given out, and that's what I'd have done if I was umpire.
has he gone this time?
In this one, you can clearly see that the batsman edged behind to the wicket-keeper, meaning he hit it, so he should have been given out caught. But the umpire didn't give it, Which what if I was in charge, I'd give it the batsman out for being caught behind. This is another one that should be given out and caught behind, as the batsman has clearly edged it to first slip, but the umpire hasn't given it out. If I was in charge, I'd give it out, caught. That would be the right decision to make. Thank you for watching and listening.